God's Word. Today, January 24, Exodus 9 through 11, and Luke 24. Now, what's great about Luke 24, we're not going to spend our time there, but that is a chapter worth looking at. If you're reading through and you're like, what is that? What is that? Well, it's the last chapter of the Gospel, and it's about the resurrection of Jesus Christ. So that's a pretty exciting chapter. And I trust as you've been reading through the Gospel of Luke, you have fallen more in love with Jesus. And that's always exciting. So today we're going to spend our time in Exodus chapter 11. Just again, because many times people are trying to get out of the Old Testament really quickly, and so we're just reading it fast. And so trying to endeavor more often than not, but once in a while we'll go to the New Testament. More often than not, want to make our readings and our comments from the Old Testament while we can. So Exodus chapter 11 says, "The Lord said to Moses, yet one plague more I will bring upon Pharaoh and upon Egypt. Afterward he will let you go from here. When he lets you go, he will drive you away completely. Speak now in the hearing of the people, they ask, every man of his neighbor and every woman of her neighbor for silver and gold jewelry. The Lord gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians. Moreover, the man Moses was very great in the land of Egypt, in the sight of Pharaoh's servants and in the sight of the people. So Moses said, thus says the Lord, about midnight I will go out in the midst of Egypt, and every firstborn in the land of Egypt shall die, from the firstborn of Pharaoh who sits on his throne, even to the firstborn of the slave girl who is behind the handmill, and all the firstborn of the cattle. There will be a great cry throughout all the land of Egypt, such as there has never been, nor ever will be again. Not a dog shall growl against any of the people of Israel, either man or beast, that you may know the Lord makes a distinction between Egypt and Israel. And all these your servants shall come down to me and bow down to me, saying, get out, and all the people who follow you, and after that I will go out. He went out from Pharaoh in hot anger. And the Lord said to Moses, Pharaoh will not listen to you, that my wonders may be multiplied in the land of Egypt. Moses and Aaron did all these wonders before Pharaoh, and the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart. He did not let the people of Israel go out of his land. Now what's coming, of course, chapter 10, or in chapter 12 in tomorrow's readings, where they prepare for this night, and it becomes Passover. And it's the 10th plague that's talked about here in chapter 11. And early on, it says Pharaoh hardened his heart. I think it's around the 4th or the 5th plague, it says the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart. And it's reiterated here in verse 10, the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart. It's not that he made him, he just confirmed what was in the heart of Pharaoh. And it's kind of a sad deal. The finality of it all. And the finality of this plague is going to be such that there's an outcry, right? And in all of that, God's going to send them away full, right? They're to go to their neighbors, and Moses is great, and he's got people that he can talk to, and they're going to be sent away with all kinds of riches, which you think, that's not going to help a whole lot in the desert. No, but eventually it's all going to help as they move forward into the new world, to the promised land. So what do we make of God who threatens and who does something like this? I think, well, that doesn't seem right. Seems that God's just going to kill everybody? It's just the firstborn? Why? And what's going on here? Well, again, these have all been to show that there's one God. And so many of the plagues attacked the various gods that were responsible, supposedly, over various natural elements and things like that. And every time Yahweh, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, is demonstrating there is no one else, there is no other. As Isaiah says, if there is no other God, I know not one. And so he makes these promises to Moses and Moses to Pharaoh. By now, as we read along, we know he's a promise maker. He's a promise keeper. That's where it should hit us. The promises of God are true. Always have been, always will be. When he says to do something, we should be prepared to do it because his promises are true. Till next time, keep growing little by little.